Hello, we are going to talk about how do we learn a language and the cognitive and social linguistic approach. So the members are Ángel Alvarado, Humberto Cañar, and María Eugenia Fierro. So cognitive approach, this is how this a mental process that, as you see here, the brain, it's similar process that learn in any complex skills. And then in learners are the conscious control and the language and the automatic, they don't realize this means unconscious. This approach focuses in attention, memory, practice, and automatization. Um, Skill acquisition theories, the Kaiser says that declarative knowledge, here we have facts, rules that the students must learn in that where the teacher explain and rules and they have to follow. And the procedural knowledge, knowing exactly that the student learn in real time. Learners first learn grammar rules explicitly, then practice them until use become automatic. Okay, I'm going to explain here an example. So we took the example with two words, may and can. You know, may is a possibility or sometimes we use for permission, and can for an ability. In this here, we have the target extracted previous knowledge, the most common use, the sentence like it says, may I go to the bathroom? To teach the structure needed to ask questions about possibilities or abilities. Common communicative practice using the same structures in authentic speaking writing tasks. Like example says activities where they can use both words, can and may, the students can do activities in the classroom. Frequently meaningful practice lead to automatic and fluency. So my mate Angel is going to continue with the rest.
Well, in this case, I'm going to talk about something about the processability theory. So sorry. Well, this theory it's about when the learner it's acquiring grammatical structures, but following a sequence based focusing on the student's processability. It means that the student is going to have a begin to an end, but for acquiring knowledge or to improve skills, those students need to go step by step from simple to complex to understand the grammar structures. Yeah. Additionally, the brain can only use certain grammar rules when it's ready to process them. Yes, there are some grammatical patterns that students probably maybe can use, um but before this, it's supposed that they have a preparation. Well, we have some stages to complex, to simple to complex. For example, students can start, for example, using single words. For example, eat ice cream, go sleep. Or por ejemplo, for example, we have here go eat yesterday. Yep. Another thing is that we have another phrases like simple combinations. For example, we have go home, eat dinner. Another simple combinations could be make bed, drink water, take a bath, um, and also go sleep. Additionally, we have simple sentences. It's a part of steps that a student need to follow to improve their skills. So no word change. For example, he go to school or she go to school. Yeah, using third person or maybe plural if they want. For example, they got to school. We got to school. Yeah, and final explaining the final points 4 and 5, it's like an agreement about the basic grammar rules. For example, in this case, we can explain our students that in third person verbs are with es or s, depending the verb rules. For example, in this part it's not going to be he go to school. The correct form is going to be he goes to school. He goes to school. Yeah, in plural, as I was saying, they go to school. Yeah, it's correct. But if we use third person, we have to add a s or a s to the verb. And finally, we can use more complex sentences. For example, to form a WH question or information question. For example, um, how can I say, where is he going? Yeah, he goes to school. Where is he, for example, where is he, what is he eating? He's eating a hamburger. Okay, yep. Can you continue, please? Okay, well, now we have classroom applications. Well, regarding cognitive and psycholinguistic approach, we have to we have to use real how can I say? Okay, we have to explain, but we have to do a good explanation, like explicit instruction to clarify the meaning of a structure. Like then we have to guide students with authentic or communicative tasks so they can have a good understanding about the things that they need to do on the classroom. Yeah, second, we have match activities to learners' readiness. Mm, we have, as a teachers, teachers can design activities that can lead students to have a continuously uh, process. For example, not using advanced syntax or grammar rules. We have we can use basic word order. For example, if teachers are in the teaching about how to form a sentence, let's suppose. Then we have built fluency through meaningful repetition. Okay, it's known that by repetition, students will have practice, but to avoid like mechanical process, we can teachers can design dialogues, projects, or reflections. Okay, different task jobs, so that so that practice feels purposeful rather than mechanical. And finally, use about feedback to strengthen the process processing. Teachers need to provide feedback to help the students to notice why they achieved and why they need to achieve or to improve in the future to about the things that they produce to get okay, instead of get a good grade, teachers need to focus on if students learn, how the student have learned. Yeah, encourage self-correction and reflection rather than only about, as I was saying, about pointing purposes or pointing out or mistakes. Yep, we have to encourage them to improve their things that they already work on the classes instead of just looking their mistakes. Yep, we have to encourage students to be better, motivating them to if a student has a mistake, that student can improve in the future. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna thank you. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the importance of these theories. It's very important to understand these theories. It has been very valuable to us because it helps us understand why learners can make systematic mistakes, understanding and learning about interlanguage, and knowing that the students use their private knowledge from their L1 and transfer that over, and that justifies what the mistakes are made. Also, it's important to understand these theories because they also explain why accuracy improves gradually and not instantly. Sometimes, as teachers, we can get really frustrated because don't we explain the same thing over and over again, and the students don't seem to understand. So, these theories have helped us understand that it is a process. Also, because the theories emphasize that learning is both cognitive, so it's mental, and it's also developmental, so it's sequential. So it takes some time. And the students are only going to be doing what their brains are ready to do. And also because they encourage the tolerance and patience, especially in us as teachers, because we now understand the fluency grows through stages and not necessarily through shortcuts. As a reflection, we wanted to answer the questions of how can we as teachers identify a student's processing level. And we came out to the conclusion that if we observe how they handle different language structures in real communication, that is how we can identify their level. If students can use a form accurately in spontaneous speech and writing, that means that they have processed it. But if they are unable to, maybe we need to work on that specific structure a little bit longer. And also by using frequent formative assessments, such as oral tasks or short reflections, so that we can know where they're at. And the other question was, what classroom strategies best balance accuracy and fluency? We talked about starting with guided practice for accuracy, so modeling it, then moving it onto open-ended tasks that promote fluency, allowing students to express themselves and being able to make the corrections that are needed. Activities such as role plays or debates or even creative writing, which allows students to focus on meaning, while we provide the feedback and we make short grammar reviews that allow for them to maintain accuracy over time. And these are the authors that we use for our project. Thank you.